20 bucks. We're on the line for 20 bucks. We keep on playing. Hi everybody. Hi guys. It's Jabor. Welcome to Mrs. Calabash and Maggie. So, come into my very hot kitchen. Actually, it's not too bad. I've chosen the dish especially for this weather because outside it is cruel. I just went out to get some herbs and whew, I melted. Even the dogs don't want to go out. So grab a cool one, sit down, relax, and this is a meal that's not going to overheat the kitchen because quite honestly my get up and go went. It went out of the window this morning. So we're going to make a cold Thai salad, which is with rice noodles or vermicelli noodles. And so there's no cooking to do for that. I've already cooked the noodles. And then garlic chicken butter bites. Now I've given you, it's rather, I spilt, look, you can see, I spilt the soy sauce all over it. There's two ways to cook the chicken. And I was, which way are we going to do it? I can either cook them on the stove top, fry them, which I'm going to do today, or we can bake them in the oven. And it was a toss-up. And I thought, I'm going to have the oven on longer than I'm going to have the burner on. So we've gone for frying them on the stove top. Now for this, if you're going to cook them on the stove top, slice them chicken breast very thinly. I've just got 4 here because I've done the rest. I put some flour in a bowl, made sure that the chicken pieces, they're only small, the little chicken bites, but the pieces of chicken are well coated with flour. The reason why you do that is you want to make sure that the egg is actually going to stick to the chicken. And then, of course, the breadcrumbs stick to the egg. Now, here I've got, you can use panko breadcrumbs, the Japanese, or I just use, I've got a food processor, I just put in stale bread. Now, these larger breadcrumbs are from my own bread. And I'll just show you the difference. I don't know if you can see, these are quite large. And these are quite fine. The finer breadcrumbs are from Derrick's stale bread. That's the bought bread. So they will give you a finer breadcrumb than the homemade. So let's just, this is a little bit messy. If you don't like to feel the chicken and the egg on your hand, then use one of these, or wear a glove. I can't work very well in gloves, so I tend to use my fingers. And then just roll them, the chicken, you see it's got egg on it, and they're just rolled into the breadcrumbs. Now, the recipe, I wrote it for larger pieces of chicken than this because I want them to cook quite quickly today. So I've actually used 3 eggs instead of 2 eggs, and I've used more breadcrumbs. I always keep some breadcrumbs on one side so that if I run out, I can just add to it. Now those breadcrumbs, I'm going to put a top on, they're going to go in the freezer, and then when I've got some more stale bread, I'll add to the breadcrumbs, and that way I've always got breadcrumbs. You can season the breadcrumbs if you like with a little salt and pepper and some dried herbs. So if you want seasoned breadcrumbs. But I keep them neutral so that if I'm making something sweet, I've got a neutral breadcrumb. So let's just put these over here. Yuck, sticky hands. So let me just go and wash my hands. Always make sure when you've handled raw meat, especially chicken, that you wash your hands in warm soapy water. Now with the chicken breast, I cut them into about 3 and then long ways like that, and so they were nice and thin. You can use a chicken fillet. Sometimes the store has chicken fillets in, so you could use some chicken fillet. Just make sure that they've actually cut the sinew out of the breasts if you use chicken fillets. I'm going to wash my dishcloth. I don't know if you can hear the hounds upstairs. You wouldn't believe it. They've got a bed, a television, and air conditioning, and the moaning. They want to be down here where the action is. So come on, let's go over to the stove and put these on. Now in here I've melted some butter because you're going to need more oil if you're going to fry on the oven top, on the stove top. So I've got some butter and some olive oil. Now the olive oil will stop the butter from burning, so that means you can bring it up to a higher temperature. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, in the flour I put some powdered garlic, and what I like to do is actually put the chicken in and get it coated in the flour and let it sit there so that the garlic can actually penetrate the chicken. I'm going to turn this little oven on to warm. I didn't want to do it beforehand, so let's have a look. These are only going to take a few minutes to cook. I need to get organised. I want to make sure that it's actually hot enough so that it doesn't, all the fat doesn't go into the breadcrumbs. I've used a mixture of oils because I want to bring it up to a higher temperature. I've got butter, olive oil and a little canola oil. The canola oil will come to a higher temperature than just the olive oil. But that's just a personal flavour. There we are. Now we don't want to overcrowd the pan. Let's just put them in. We can get quite a lot in here. The light is playing on it and I can't see because I've got some cling film between the layers and I can't, oh there we are, we finished that one. There we go. Let's turn that up a little bit. And we're going to make a nice sweet sauce to go on top of this. Well, it's not that sweet, it's spicy more than sweet. Just so that before we serve, we're going to pour the sauce over, and so there's really a lot of flavour, because I don't know, chicken bites can be a bit sort of dry. There's another one there, and there's another one. I think I can get that one in. No, there's another one. There we go. I do like chicken bites, but sometimes when you, or chicken tenders, and sometimes when you buy them, they're a bit uninteresting, aren't they? So this is where you could, today I've got garlic in there, but if you like something a little bit spicy, that I do, why not add a little cayenne pepper or some chipotle pepper in there as well, and it you know, gives them a little bit of warmth. There's nothing like a little bit of warmth when you're cooking. So we got those turned up. There we are. I need a fork because I want to turn, in a minute I'm going to turn these over. Again, this is where it gets a little bit warm. There we are. You see they go nice and crispy very easily. There we are. It's a little bit fiddly, but it certainly is worth it. And you could do the same. I'm doing chicken bites today. Why, you could do the same with shrimp. You could have some large shrimp and just coat them in breadcrumbs like I'm doing and fry them and then serve them with a Thai salad. So that is rather nice. So you don't have to spend a lot of time cooking. There's more preparation than there is cooking. And this morning I couldn't get going. My get up and go just went out of the window. I was wandering around and Derek said, "Why are you taking so long to get ready?" You know, I said, "I don't know. I just haven't got any energy." It was a bit ridiculous. So, I don't know. I'm Anglo-Saxon. I don't do very well in this hot weather. It was the same in France when we lived in France. I had to have a siesta in the afternoon, which everybody did. The stores would close from 2 to 4. So you had lunch from 12 to 2. It's always a 2-hour lunch. And then the stores would close from 2 to 4. 4 o'clock they would open again, and we'd stay open probably till 7, 7:30, 8 in the coolness of the evening. Because nobody was out and about. It was too hot. I used to stay open, I used to close for about an hour and then would have to open up because people wanted the goûter, afternoon tea. Now let's just open one of these up just to make sure there's no red in there. They're totally cooked. We can do the others. So let's just, I like these scoops because you can get rid of all the fat. So just put them on I'm putting them on a paper towel just to absorb the rest of the liquid. There we are. We'll just put these in quickly because I like to cook them all in one go. There we are. Turn, it's getting a little bit hot. You could see they were getting a little bit brown. So we turn down the heat. Now there was a pound of chicken breast here. So that will feed about 4. You could probably squeeze 5 or 6 if you've got other things to eat as well. Now these are rather nice because these you can serve. I'm going back again over here, Derek. These you can serve as either a starter or as a main course. Today I'm going to do them as a main course, but you could make these as a starter with some nice dipping sauce and then have a main course. I was going to say eating on the patio. We were going to do it the other night and it was so hot. No way. It was incredible. So, and Derek went out in his bare feet. Ha ha! Stupid man. The soles of his, just think of the poor dogs though, because the soles of his feet were quite, he said they were quite burnt on the deck. So just think of the poor little dogs if you're taking them out. I was oh, I've lost my light.
That's okay, we can still see you.
You can still see me. Oh, isn't it nice having live? Things go wrong. Things go wrong in the kitchen anyway, don't they? Yeah, they're always going wrong. You just have to know how to get out of when they've gone wrong. So that everybody says, oh, isn't this nice? And you think, oh my God. Yeah. So these are almost cooked again. That's why I cook them very, very thinly, so that they don't take long to cook. You don't want to overcook because you're going to dry them out. Yet you don't want them pink in the centre. So let's just check. That one isn't cooked as well as the rest, so if that's not pink, they're all cooked. Let's have a look. Yep, that's there. So just a couple of seconds more. As I say, I know I'm a bit paranoid when it comes to chicken. I do like it to be well cooked. Just remember, when you turn the heat off, you're still going to have that heat to cook the food. You don't want to turn it off too much with the fat, because you don't want the fat to be absorbed by the food, but it will stand a minute or two. So we'll let these drain and stay warm whilst we're cooking, not cooking, but just preparing the Thai salad. So you see, that didn't take long. So the heat's off the kitchen now. Whew, we can breathe again. We've only got a little bit of heat coming from the toasty oven. So let's go back and let's do the Thai salad. For this, I cooked today vermicelli noodles because I wanted them thin. Now you see they're quite separate. They're not all clogged together. Now the secret is, with a vermicelli noodle, bring them up to the boil. Make sure the water is salted. They cook for about 1 minute. Take them out, drain them straight away because that water will keep cooking, and just put them under the cold water tap. You want to rinse out all the starch. If you don't do that, they stick together like that as the starch coagulates. And just put a little, when you've done all that and they've drained, just sprinkle a little sesame oil over. A, it adds the flavour, and B, it keeps them separate. So, we've got the noodles. We've got different vegetables in here. Just depends what you've got. I've got a little green onion, some yellow onion, pepper, chopped cucumber, and some matchsticks, carrot, julienne. Now you can buy the carrots already matchstick. This I'm going to put in. Derek grew this. It's a purple pepper. We've never seen the purple.
Hold it down.
Like that. Never seen a purple pepper before. And we were reading about them, and it said they go purple, but if they get too ripe, they start going red. So I wanted to pick it whilst it was purple, and apparently it has a slightly different flavour, and we've never grown one before. It has a slightly different flavour to the to these sweet peppers. So I've got some herbs here, a mixture of basil and parsley. So I'm going to put those in there, and let's have a look. I'm very interested to see what this pepper is going to be like. Oh yes, they said it was greenish inside. I'm going to taste a little bit. because it does look very much like an eggplant. It's not sweet, probably because it could be a little bit underripe, and that's why when they're very ripe they turn the red, but I wanted the colour. So I'm going to just put some of these in. I don't know if we're going to get any more off the plant. There was only just one pepper there, so I wanted to use it because it's a lovely colour.
It's early in the season.
It's very early in the season, actually, but I was terrified that if I left it, it was going to grow red, so I didn't want to. So in there we've got all our vegetables. Let's give them a twist so that the herbs can go over. You can use cilantro instead of parsley and basil, but as you know that Derek doesn't like the cilantro, so I just use different herbs. I love the basil in there. Now we're going to make the topping, the dressing, and so. Whew, it's getting, what did I say about it not being warm? I've got soy sauce, rice vinegar, canola oil, lime juice, grated ginger and garlic in there, a little sesame oil, a little honey. You can use sugar instead of honey, and there we are. I think we've got everything on there. Yes, and melted butter. No, that's for something else. I'm getting beyond myself. So, and we're going to mix all this up together, and I've used my whisk. So I'm going to go back to the stove and just pick up a clean whisk. There we are, got it. So we're going to whisk all this together. And we'll check it for seasoning. A little, that's the honey. You can put sugar in instead of honey, but I like the taste of honey, and it's better for me marginally than the sugar. The ginger, and this is the lime juice. There's a juice of one good lime there. Now, we have to taste this before we do any seasoning. Let's have a look. I don't think it needs anything else added to it. If you can make this gluten-free, if you've got somebody come in and you know that they've got a gluten intolerance, make sure that you buy some soy sauce without that's gluten-free, and you're okay because you've got vermicelli. I wouldn't use vermicelli, I would use rice noodles because the vermicelli is a flour. And we're going to pour this over there like that, and you've got lots of juice in there. I would make this in the morning if I'm serving in the evening, because I like all the flavours to mingle. I've got a whole packet of noodles here, which I like. Derek's not too keen on, but that's okay, because I can use these. I make myself rice wraps, or I make rice wraps, or I make spring rolls, and I can put a few of those in, and I will eat those instead of potato. And I put some bean sprouts. Make sure that you wash the bean sprouts because you don't know where they've been. Let's add the bean sprouts to that. And we're going to put all this into here. And make sure it is all nicely mixed together. Make sure that the noodles are separated. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to try it.
You missed some.
I've missed some.
Yeah.
Where?
Take a look around the wall.
Oh yes. That's one thing about having a glass bowl. You can see where you've been or where you miss. I'm not going to fiddle with that anymore. Let's move those over there. So I've used about, in there, I've used about half a pound of the really, really fine noodles. As I say, nothing goes to waste with the noodles. And I can always put them in a stir fry. They're cooked. We can have a stir fry with the noodles. I'm just going to give it, I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm going to just give it one more twist. There we are. Beautiful. Clean the board. Now we've got to make the sauce for the top of the chicken. And again, we've got honey. And I've used my, I use that. I'm going to use this again. So I melted some butter. This is a chili sauce, a hot sauce of any description. So this is just a garlic and pepper sauce. Mix it all together. And again, honey. If your honey's got a little bit old and it doesn't want to come out of its jar, slip it in the microwave for a few seconds. And then that will bring it up to scratch again. Let's try it. I'm going to add, oh, it's got a nice bite to it. Just a little, that's it. Doesn't need much. It's got a beautiful bite to it. It doesn't come out and hit you. It comes on gradually. So, fills your mouth with flavour. So let's fetch the chicken bites over. I need to turn that off. I can't seem to turn it off. There we are. Close that. So we've got the chicken, the serving dish for the chicken, and we've got a little sesame seeds there. Again, check that no one is allergic to the sesame seeds. So if got somebody coming and they are allergic to sesame. Don't use the sesame oil, use a coconut oil or something like that, because otherwise they'll be ill. There we are. And you see that because they've been on the draining on the kitchen paper, they're not fatty at all. So there we are. Lovely. A little sprinkling of sesame seeds, and the meal is served. And that is the chicken bites with the rather tasty Thai salad. Very healthy and without putting too much heat in the kitchen. So thank you very much for watching. Please